Hey everyone, and welcome back. We're doing a deep dive today on the power of your mind.
Oh, this is going to be good.
Yeah. To help us out with this deep dive, we're turning to David Goggins.
Of course. Goggins is like the embodiment of mental toughness.
Definitely, right? He's an ultra-endurance athlete and a motivational speaker, and he's known for pushing himself.
Way past any limit most of us could imagine.
Yeah. And for this deep dive, we're looking at his YouTube video, The Most Eye-Opening 10 Minutes of Your Life. Have you seen it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's Goggins, so you know it's going to be intense but insightful.
It is. There's so much in there that could totally change how you see pretty much everything.
And how you approach challenges in your life.
Absolutely. One of the first things that really grabbed me was when he said, "Your brain is the most powerful weapon in the world."
Wow. Yeah, that's a statement, isn't it?
Big time. Why do you think that's so impactful?
Well, when you think about it, he's right.
Easy.
Your brain really does decide how you're going to react to just about everything in life, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, a stressful day at work,
Oh, for sure.
or problems in a relationship, or even just getting stuck in traffic.
Yeah.
It all comes down to how your mind processes those situations.
You know, I've totally experienced that, like that little voice inside my head that can either be like super encouraging or like drag me down.
Okay.
And Goggins actually takes it a step further. He says our brains are always talking to us.
Yes. He's spot on about that constant inner monologue we all have.
Right.
And it can be your best friend or your worst enemy, honestly.
It's true.
If you're stuck in a loop of telling yourself you can't do something or focusing on what's wrong, you know what? You're probably sabotaging your own success. But if you can switch that voice to be more positive, to be encouraging.
Like if you could just be your own hype person.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
It can completely empower you. It's like you're rewiring your brain to be successful.
Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting. Goggins talks about how he struggled to learn as a kid.
Oh yeah, like with reading.
Yeah. He had a super hard time with it and couldn't pass his tests.
I can imagine how discouraging that must have been.
It would have been so easy to just give up, but he didn't.
And that's Goggins, right? He just keeps going.
And it wasn't just about trying a little harder. Goggins' definition of hard work goes way beyond that.
It's more about that relentless commitment, like pushing way past what you think is possible.
He kept going back and reading the same passages over and over again. He was literally rewiring his brain through repetition.
Wow, yeah. I mean, his story just shows you that persistence and dedication can lead to, like, incredible breakthroughs.
Even when it seems like it's impossible.
Especially then. Like, he also talks about learning to swim.
Oh, right.
He kept sinking. He was negatively buoyant.
What does that even mean?
I think it means he was just not naturally a floater. But he just kept going back in over and over again until he got it.
And isn't that so inspiring, like that level of determination?
It shows you that a lot of what we call talent,
Oh, interesting.
or like natural ability, often it comes from really pushing yourself, putting in the work, and embracing that feeling of being uncomfortable.
So Goggins wants us to redefine hard work.
Yes. It's not something to be scared of, but like the key to your full potential.
Okay, so how can people listening, how can we take that idea and actually apply it?
Take a second and think about the tough stuff you've gone through.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Were there times when giving up just felt easier than pushing through?
I mean, there are always those moments, right?
What if you tried using Goggins' idea of hard work, that total commitment to not stopping, even when it's really hard?
You know, what could you achieve if you didn't let your brain tell you no?
It's interesting, right? Because a lot of people think peace comes from like comfort and ease.
Yeah, totally.
But Goggins totally flips that idea.
He does.
He says true peace comes from pushing your limits,
Really?
like constantly testing yourself, finding out what you're really capable of.
That's not about relaxing on a beach somewhere.
Not exactly. It's about breaking through those self-imposed limits and realizing your full potential.
He has this one line that always sticks with me. He says, I want everybody to love David Goggins. I didn't love myself.
Wow, that's powerful.
It's so raw and honest. What do you think he means by that?
I think he's getting at the idea that real self-love,
Okay.
it often comes from mastering yourself. It's not about feeling good all the time, but about pushing yourself to be the best you can be,
Even when it's hard.
especially when it's hard. Goggins is suggesting that real peace, real fulfillment, it might come from facing challenges head on, not avoiding them.
And figuring out who you really are in the process.
Exactly.
You know, he wasn't happy with who he was, so he took massive action to change his life.
He did. He even said, I was so disappointed in what I saw every day.
That feeling of disappointment, it can really light a fire under you, can't it?
It absolutely can. And it's something so many of us can relate to.
You think so?
Yeah, I think we've all felt like we weren't living up to our own expectations.
Yeah. Or like we could be doing more.
But maybe we're not sure how to tap into that potential.
So what's the secret? What did Goggins do?
Goggins says the first step is taking responsibility for where you are right now and deciding you want something different.
Okay, I'm with you.
And sometimes that means you got to, as he puts it, become the devil.
That's right. He talked about becoming the devil during Navy SEAL training.
Oh, yeah.
When you say she became the devil, what did he actually do to get that mentally tough?
He uses that phrase, I think, as a metaphor.
A metaphor for what?
For the intensity and the mental strength you need to survive that kind of experience.
So he wasn't like literally turning evil.
No. He's talking about going all in on the challenge.
Yeah.
He embraced the suffering and used it to push himself harder.
So it's about finding that primal drive to overcome obstacles, pushing past those mental blocks that hold us back.
Exactly. He wants us to tap into that inner strength and resilience we all have.
So how do we do that? How do we find that inner strength?
One of the things he talks about is tapping into what he calls the mineral soil inside us.
Mineral soil? That's such a strange phrase. What does he even mean by that?
He uses that metaphor to talk about the core of who you are.
Okay.
That part that stays strong, even when things are really hard.
It's like that saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Right. He's saying that real growth, real self-discovery often comes after you go through something tough.
So by pushing ourselves, we find out what we're really made of.
We uncover that unbreakable part inside us.
Okay, but how do we actually do that? How do we find that mineral soil?
Goggins says it starts with figuring out your core purpose.
What do you mean?
What are you passionate about? What gets you out of bed in the morning?
I like that.
And once you find that passion, you have to be willing to put in the work, to suffer for it, to embrace the challenges that come with it.
He definitely emphasizes that it's not going to be easy.
He doesn't sugarcoat it.
He says, you don't find peace first. I found peace on the opposite end of finding myself.
That's deep. He found peace after the struggle, after the self-discovery.
It's like the journey itself is the reward.
And Goggins is living proof of that.
He has achieved so much, but he's still pushing himself, still growing.
And a big part of that is accountability.
Accountability.
Goggins really stresses the importance of being accountable for your choices and your actions.
Yeah.
He doesn't let himself off the hook.
He links accountability with suffering.
He does.
Yeah.
Because it's tough to make those tough choices, you know?
To do what you need to do even when you don't feel like it.
But that process, that discomfort, that's how we grow stronger.
Okay, going back to the brain as our most powerful weapon.
Yeah.
Goggins says we have to be in control of our thoughts. We need to be aware of that inner voice and make sure it's helping us, not holding us back.
Absolutely. He gives some really practical advice for that, too.
Like what?
He talks about the power of self-talk, choosing to think positive thoughts instead of negative ones.
So it's like becoming the master of your own mind.
Yes. Don't let it run wild with negativity.
Yeah.
He also talks about visualization, seeing yourself achieving your goals, overcoming those obstacles.
It's like creating a mental plan for success.
Exactly. It's training your mind like you train your body.
Developing mental toughness, resilience, focus.
Don't just hope for the best. Prepare your mind to handle anything.
So it's more than just like willpower, right?
It is. It's about actually building mental skills.
That can help you achieve your goals.
Yeah. You can think of it like becoming a mental athlete.
Oh, I like that.
Training your mind for peak performance.
And anyone can do this.
Exactly. It's not about being born with this special talent.
Okay.
It's about putting in the work, constantly challenging yourself, and not giving up.
Just like Goggins was saying about hard work earlier.
Exactly. It's like rewiring your brain for success.
Goggins even says that he feels invincible because he understands how the brain works.
Yeah, well, he's not literally invincible.
Right, of course not.
But what he means is that he's tapped into that power of mental fortitude.
Being able to control your thoughts and emotions even when things are really, really tough.
Exactly. He's saying that when you get how your mind works, you can find a level of strength and resilience that you never thought you had.
Wow, that's so powerful. Like we all have this amazing potential just waiting to be unlocked.
It is. It's like a hidden superpower that we can learn to use.
So how do we do it? What's the first step to unlocking that potential?
I think the first step is to really sit with what Goggins is saying.
Okay.
Think about what you're struggling with in your own life. Is your brain holding you back? Are you letting those negative thoughts take over?
And if we are, then what?
Start by noticing those thoughts. Pay attention to that inner voice.
Okay.
When you hear a negative thought, stop and ask yourself, is this thought helpful? Is this even true?
Is this helping me?
Right. And if it's not,
then what do we do?
Replace it with something positive, something that will empower you. Visualize yourself reaching your goals, overcoming obstacles.
It's like we're training ourselves to be more positive.
And remind yourself of your strengths, all the times you've succeeded in the past.
It's about taking control of your own perspective.
Focusing on the things you can actually control, your thoughts and your actions.
But don't just think about it. Actually take action.
Exactly.
Start small. Set a goal, even a tiny one.
Yeah.
And then commit to actually doing something, even when it's hard.
Goggins said, we have no idea what's inside of us until we start trying hard. And I mean really trying hard.
I love that. So true. What are you waiting for? Everyone listening, start unlocking your potential.
It's all there, just waiting to be discovered.
This has been an incredible deep dive. So what's your brain telling you right now? What limiting belief are you ready to say goodbye to?
It's time to create your new norm. Remember, true peace and fulfillment come from pushing your limits.
From testing yourself and finding out what you're truly capable of.
It's about the journey, the struggle, and the growth that comes with it.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the power of the mind with David Goggins.
He's an inspiration, for sure.
Yeah. Remember what Goggins said. Greatness is not this wonderful, esoteric, elusive, godlike feature that only the special among us will ever taste. It's something that truly exists in all of us.
We all have that potential.
So go out there and unleash your greatness. We'll see you next time for another deep dive into the world of ideas.